Vodacom Pools. Thanks for joining us ahead of tomorrow's Vodacom URC final in Dublin. I'm pleased to confirm that we have Coach Johan Ackermann in the room, along with Captain Marcel Coetzee. You can ask as per usual. If you put your hands up online, we'll take questions sequentially. Thank you. Morgan.
Thanks, Clinton. How's Ockers? How's Marcel? Hope you guys are doing well there. Ockers, just for you, how exciting and big is this final for you guys tomorrow night?
Hi, Morgan. No, I mean, captains run now, and I stood outside on the stadium and see the stadium and see the field, and you reflect back on the season, and you see where we were and where we are tomorrow, and it's a great privilege. And no, all I can say is, it feels a bit still unsurreal for me, like the fight that the players shown, and therefore, it's first of all, like I said, a privilege to play tomorrow, but we know it can be quite a great end to a great journey for this, how we started and how we finished. But it's a massive challenge against one of the best teams, if not the best team in this competition and in Europe. So we're no illusion about that. But at least we gave ourselves an opportunity and by playing in the final.
Thanks, Ockers. All the best.
Thank you.
Annemie.
I think Jan was ahead of me.
Annemie, you're welcome to go. I'm sure Jan won't mind.
Okay, thanks, Clinton. Hi, guys. Coach Rassie said this week that you would learn a lot from the Stormers and their semi-final against Leinster, and I'm sure you guys would have gone through that and picked up a lot of tips maybe. But the difference between them and you guys this weekend is that you're going into this game with momentum. How big a role is that going to play?
Hello, Annemie. Yeah, I think finals is a bit different. Obviously, we can take a lot of confidence against out of the momentum that we go in. The teams that we played against, Munster and Glasgow, but finals is on the day. I think we all had our fair share of experience, Marcel and the team and myself. There's certain things that must go well on the day, and the past, even we didn't look that much to the Stormers game because there was different influences and different scenarios that, we don't control that. We can only control tomorrow. And yeah, so personally, I think we're confident. We believe in ourselves and we believe in the team. But saying that, I don't think tomorrow will be anything that we've done in the past. We have to be much more accurate than we've been. We have to match Leinster's intensity that they start. We saw that last week. So, whatever we did in the past is not going to count much. We have to repeat and be much better tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Dankie, Jan.
Also reg, thanks, Clinton. Dankie, Jan. Dankie, Marcel. Jan, I had a look at the weather, and I know that there's a chance of rain in the afternoon and so on. Have you got plans or change tactics if it suddenly starts raining, or because the temperature will obviously drop in the evening?
Hello, Jan. No, not really. I think we've got a plan in place that we're going to stick to, and we'll adjust when we get here and we see the weather has changed a lot. At end of the day, I think it's still going to boil down to what we all know, to match Leinster's physicality and intensity. And doesn't matter what the weather is going to be. But if anything, Jan, they said it's going to rain today and we're baking in Sunday. So hopefully you're wrong there. But whatever the conditions is, we have to deal with that and just enjoy the moment. I think the team is ready regardless of the weather, because it will obviously rain for both teams if it rains, and we can just deal with it on the day.
Marcel, you've obviously played quite a bit in Ireland, and you've played big games in a lot of stadiums. Where would this final rate for your rank for you?
Yeah, I think it'll be right up there. I mean, we've been privileged enough to play a few URC finals, and not obviously going all the way, but it's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity to. It was a new season. The character shown by the boys throughout the whole season was an enjoyable journey. I think the journey, first of all, and to end up here, again here at Croke Park, with a bunch of special guys. Yeah, no, it's going to be. I think I'll rate it as one of the best venues to play on, and it's going to be a great occasion, I think.
Yeah. I know a lot has been said about last year's final because it's the same venue. But when you take your team out for that last chat you have with them just before kickoff or just before you leave the dressing room, what would your overriding message be?
No, I think I have so much good leaders around me as well. Every guy gives his input and stuff. For me, personally, just enjoy the moment. As you get older in your career, you sometimes take things for granted in the past, and to end up in a final, you must just be gratitude for it. And I think just enjoy the moment, seize the opportunity, and don't look back.
Johan's last one from me, same question. I mean, you as a coach has also been in a few finals. What would your overriding message be to the team?
Yes, Jan. Tend to not think too much about tomorrow. I try to keep the nerves calm, but I think we'll see where we are tomorrow. You get a feeling during the warm-up, and you get a feeling of, do you need to say anything, or do you trust the players that they're ready to play? Because ultimately, what you've done through the season it got you here. And I think if we can do those things well, the things we've done well, and even, like I said, improve on areas that we were not so good against Glasgow and so on, I think that will probably be the main focus. We all know we have to start well, so that will probably be a big point as well. But end of the day, the boys must go, and I trust them that they will go out and give their best. If they give that, I can live with the result. If we go out and we play a proper game and the better team win, so be it.
Baie dankie Jan, baie dankie Marcel, sterkte vanmôre.
Okay.
Nicholas.
Thanks, Clinton. Hi, Akis and Marcel. It's been great to follow you this season and to finally reach this point. It's been fantastic. Just doubling down on the areas where you guys have achieved much success this season. Maybe for you, Johan, on the matter of Andrew Porter not being available due to injury and two relatively inexperienced loosehead props playing for Leinster. It's no secret that the Bulls have achieved much success in the scrums this season. Is that an area you're going to target again?
Yes, Nicholas, I think I think in every game you aim to have set piece dominance, but you have to earn the right. It's not just going to happen. Leinster has got a pipeline of players that come through. We see that yearly when they send maybe a team and some of the internationals can't come to South Africa. They're competitive, they win games. So they've got a history of bringing through players and talented players. So for us to focus on one area, we know that they will pride themselves in that area as well. It will be massively wrong. You can't go out on the field and just think about scrum. There's so much outside of that. Defensively, we have to be strong. Our lineups must be strong. Our attack must be good. So we obviously pride ourselves in our scrum, but the reality is it's not going to just happen. We must go out and work for that. And whatever the result is, that's just a small part of the game. It's pointless if you scrum well, but the other part is not well enough. So yeah, so we didn't put like I said earlier, and it's not a cliche. We try to keep the week as simple as possible. We focus on ourselves like anything else. Our biggest thing was to get the energy into the boys and get over the travel. We didn't make a bigger thing about the scrums or a bigger thing about anything else than getting the boys to tomorrow's match and be ready to play.
Thank you. And maybe for you, Marcel, it's been said that playing at Croke Park on Friday night is going to favour Leinster. But I mean, the Bulls have a lot of experience playing all over Europe in big pressure environments, difficult conditions. Is it going to be another game? How's the pressure and the conditions really going to factor into it?
Yeah, no, I think if you play Leinster on a Friday, Saturday, or any other day, it will be a tough challenge, And I think what makes it special Friday night, maybe good crowds will attend it. And for us, in terms of building towards that, I think it make the week a little bit shorter for us arriving, so you can't think too much or overthink the process of going to the game. But yeah, like I think for us, it's just an opportunity, and we're looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys, and all the best.
Nicholas.
Ken,
Thanks, Clinton. How's it going? Hi, Marcel. Jan, just to follow up on Nicholas's question, there's obviously everyone's talking about the Bull scrum, and there's a lot of expectation there, and Leinster missing a couple of props, but I mean, in finals, is it not true that sometimes a team's strength actually almost can become a weakness? And especially in scrums, a lot will depend on the referee, how he rewards scrums. I'm sure you guys have had Andrea Piardi before. Has he been a referee who has rewarded a dominant scrum?
I can, yeah, we can just trust, Andrea. We had him against Munster. There was times that he, did give us the reward, sometimes didn't, that he felt, he's got his reasons, and I felt he was good that day. So again, sure we keep our side clean and scrum well if we need to scrum. But like I said to Nicholas, I honestly believe, the scrum is only one small part of the game. Yes, if you get a penalty, that it does help, but the reality is, Leinster is going to have the ball and they're going to play, and we have to deal with that. The same with when we get the ball outside of the scrum in our general play. How do we play with the ball? So there's way more factors than just the scrum. And again, the officiating, we can just trust whatever they see is close to the correct call, and we'll live by that. But I agree with you that if you're complacent and you think things is just going to happen, I've experienced it as a player and as a coach in the past that, if you think you're strong in an area, teams will attack you actually in that area. So hopefully we won't take anything for granted, and I know we can't. Like I just said, Leinster is too good a team and got too good a players to do that. So we have to work tomorrow hard in every facet of the game.
And Marcel, for you, obviously previous finals have been a bit of a painful experience for the Bulls, but I imagine there have been a lot of learnings from those finals. Well, what are the sort of main things that you could take from, I suppose, especially last year, into tomorrow?
Yeah, like every final is unique, and it is different learnings that you learn, particularly in last season's final. I think they just started very, very well. That the momentum, we kind of went out of structure, once the pressure started mounting, and we were missing a few experienced key guys on the pitch at the day as well. But yeah, like I mentioned, it's a new final, new opportunity. We've been blessed so far, and I think the biggest thing for us as leaders now is just driving the calmness and making sure we give direct. And like mentioned earlier, just enjoy the occasion.
Great. Thanks, guys. All the best tomorrow.
Thanks, Ken.
hey, Moreno.
Hi, good morning from Italy, and to Coach Johan Ackerman. Since you were talking about Piardi, if you remember anything from your period in Calvisano almost 20 years ago, we met there, but I don't think you remember it. I don't know if you remember, still Italian, maybe.
Just a little bit, but not much.
And the second question, we followed you when you were coaching the Lions and you were playing a particular brand of rugby. And then you evolved, obviously, because there is always an evolution. But is there also the idea that the way you are playing with the Bulls now is a way that is suitable for this kind of competition, while that kind of play at the Lions was suitable for just Super Rugby, if it makes sense?
Yeah. Hi, Marina. I think like I said, we still in a development almost process at the Bulls. When I got to the Bulls, preseason was already on, and there was a big learning curve for me, coming after 8 years back into South Africa since I left the Lions, and it's a new competition. When I left, we played Super Rugby, and I had time to build that team. We were 5 years together, 2 years, 1 year out of Super Rugby. And then we got a group together, and you had a lot of time together as a team, you had no Springboks in the team, and we had a few years to build a certain brand. When I got to the Bulls, you probably got players that's got been coached at high level already. They've got a certain strength, and the team has a certain strength. And then you still want to try and change a few things, but you don't really have time because some guys are at the Springboks Cup, and I had to learn that you haven't got a one squad preparing for one competition like when I left in South Africa, and that was a big challenge for me. And then obviously to learn the players and what their strengths is and how we can play or not. And I think hopefully you guys saw we started to play a little bit more differently since January when Neil de Bruin came in, that knows me well. And so we will develop the skill set and everything as we go forward. But you must also acknowledge that the Bulls historically has got a certain DNA, and that you don't want to change too much of that as well. So it's to marry the styles that you want to play. But everything that you want to change take time, and as we get more time with the player group going forward, hopefully we will be able to adapt like we saw with the Springboks, where they were 2019 and where they are now, the style that they play. So I'm a big believer that I think the modern rugby is moving on, that you have to play more different styles, but obviously a big part of that is driven by your player profile. So hopefully we'll get there, but it is a building process at the moment. But that we're gonna worry about that in the future. Now we're just happy to be in the final.
Grazie. Good luck for tomorrow.
Grazie. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Is that an old hand or a new one?
No, it's a new one. Clinton, please.
Sure.
Okay. Marcel, sorry, I just had a look at the Croke Park surface. I mean, it says it's a proper grass surface. There's nothing artificial in it. So we haven't seen it yet. You guys played a variety of surfaces. What is it like having walked on there for captains?
No, I was just telling the coach now before we arrived, the pitch is in grand condition, weather's playing a role as well. So, no, look, it's going to be a great occasion. I mean, first of all, it's a privilege to play on the stadium, knowing the history behind it and what it represents for the people of Ireland. So for us to come here again and play a final, like I said, it's just a great opportunity, and we hope to relish in that for tomorrow.
Thanks very much.
Annemie.
Thanks, Clinton. We've spoken about Ruan playing his last game at length, maybe the last 2 or 3 weeks already. Maybe you can tell us, what special is being planned for him for this game.
For me or for a visit, Annemie?
Any one of you, and then Marcel, just before we finish this off, you can just maybe say a few words. I know you have in the past, but maybe this is the final hurrah for him. So let's just give him a good send off.
Annemie, I think obviously tomorrow is a big occasion, and we know that ultimately the occasion deserves the respect more in a nice way than the individuals, because we're proud of what the individuals has achieved, and I can just see why Ruan has achieved what he has achieved, the kind of person he is. And the same goes for Wilco Louw, that's finishing at the Bulls, Vodacom Bulls, and Kirkley Arends. Those players as make a big mark. They left a big mark in the Vodacom Bulls history and team and the jersey. And we acknowledge that. But obviously tomorrow is about the final and about the 23 players. And hopefully we can put in a performance that will make the jersey proud, that will make them proud. And then for after the match, we'll obviously celebrate regardless and send them off. And because you can't take away what they achieved in one game. You know, you have to acknowledge what they've done. Ruan has been there, I think, since, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, you know, so he's done his dues there. The plan at the moment is for Sunday, as we arrive in South Africa, to have a quick get together and say thank you and, you know, thank him for his time there and so on. Because after that, obviously, as we arrive in South Africa, again, regardless of the result, it's not result driven. After the result, after the flight, the Springbok guys, whoever is selected, for us, he announced that will then go join up with the Springboks. So they won't be with us post Sunday. So we have to do something small on Sunday and thank them for their contribution to Vodacom Bulls Rugby. But I'm sure they will be in the history books and will always be remembered. And hopefully we'll see them one day back at the Vodacom Bulls.
Yeah, then just from my side, Ruan is a big figure here in our team. Like the coach mentioned, he came through the systems, had to take the other road, and the perseverance and excellence that he installed in this jersey, that's he's a perfect role model for the new generation coming up in terms of hard work ethic, humble, and being his roommate this last 6 years, it was awesome to see him grow in such talent, and what he represented for the Bulls is one thing, but the person that he is off the field as well, big family man, cares about the team, puts the team above his own needs, and how he cemented himself there at the Springboks as well speaks wonders, And very proud of him as a friend and a roommate. And it's funny, since the quarterfinal, we said this could be the last week, and then managed to go through, and then semis, this could be really the last week, and then managed to get here. But I think we will miss him. But with that creates another opportunity for the guy to stick his hand up. But also, just want to take the opportunity to acknowledge some other guys also leaving, guys like Kurtley, Volko, and David Creel. That's helped build the union and get us here. It's unfortunate some guys are injured that can't be here, like David, but the contribute they had for this union all over the years, not just this season. And we'll always be thankful for them and wish them all the best for the next chapter as well.
Thanks so much. Good luck.
Sim.
Thanks, Clint. Good evening, guys. Johan, just from a sort of mental perspective in terms of the approach to the game, obviously for the players, this is the fourth final in 5 years, and for you, this is the first. How do you guys sort of look at it? Do you go, one last push to get over the line, or do you go, clean slate, new game?
Sim, we all, for me personally, and I'm sure for the players as well, for me, it's a new team, it's a new opportunity. I don't reflect back on the past finals that I didn't get over the line or anything. That's out of our hands. That's history. I'm sure they will feel the same. That you can't dwell on the past. So for me, it's a new game, it's a new opportunity, and from a mental point of view, it's definitely not a negative. We're in a great space. We prepared well. The team is positive. I'm sure they're ready to go tomorrow. And all we can do as coaches is trust them and watch them go and play. And this is sport. We picked that choice to be a coach, and you have to live with the great wins, and you have to live with the losses. So whatever the outcome is, I'll be proud of the team. Again, I look back where we were and where we are tomorrow, and we don't sit on a couch watching and wonder what how nice it would have been to play. We get this opportunity to play, and I can just thank the Lord for blessing us, because He's the one that gives me the strength, and in Him I'll find my peace tomorrow, whatever happened.
And from your perspective, Marcel? I'm saying from your perspective, obviously as part of the guys who've been in this situation before.
Yeah, I think the coach summed it up well. We as a team, we don't live in the past, but we do learn from it. And all of those finals, there were certain things that we didn't get it right. Set piece didn't function. Maybe the day lost the collision battles, kicking game weren't, discipline. You can mention all that stuff, but I think the biggest thing is to seize the big moments when it comes. And like I mentioned earlier, is to seize the opportunity once it presents itself, and have to make use of the opportunities that comes your way. But yeah, in saying that, the enjoyment factor must never fade. This is what we dream of since we've been playing this rugby game, since we've been playing rugby in the backyard. This is the event you want to be a part of. Doesn't always go your way, sure, that's life and sport, as the coach mentioned, but the learnings you can learn to be a better person after that and to amplify that in your life after that. But yeah, like the coach said, it's sport. There can be a winner and loser, and as long as you see it as in a positive mindset.
And last one from me. Obviously, from your perspective, it's going to take all 23 guys involved in the match to win it. But if you're a typical keyboard warrior like the rest of us and watch the 2023 World Cup, I think most South Africans would think that if you guys are going to win, it'll probably involve a few successful kicks from Handré Pollard. Just looking back at the Glasgow game, how nervous did both of you get when he had an uncharacteristic off day?
Yeah, just for a player on the field. Look, I think obviously Handré, he's the first guy after the game that acknowledged, look, he wants to improve in that. And but if you take that away, what he did on the field as well, he covered a lot of kicks for us. He put us in the right direction, and it's funny how we sometimes as human beings just focus on that main strength sometimes with him. But he's huge for the team, and his calmness and how he points us in the right direction. And the other stuff that he also did was brilliant, and I know firsthand you would have taken that personally and you would look to rectify it, so yeah, I'm actually glad having the semis, and hopefully it's a turnaround in the final then.
I just wanted to say that Sim said every golfer's got a bad round somewhere. So hopefully he had his last week. Tomorrow he's on song.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hey, Percy.
Quentin, thank you so much. Goeienaand, meneer. Meneer die afvaltrek, kan ek u vra 24 ure.
Percy, sorry, are you there? Percy? Okay, Percy's ducked out. Perhaps in the interim we can have another question. Or
Die wedstryd.
Sorry, Percy, would you please start your question again? It's been terribly broken up.
Can you guys still hear me?
Okay, Percy?
Clinton, can you hear me?
Yes, please ask your question.
Okay. Johan, Marcel, goeienaand. Johan, ek vra net vinnig, as 'n afrigter kan jy seker nie baie sê of doen vir die span nou meer as net minder as 24 uur. Vat ek 'n kans om te vra wat jou spanpraatjie môre vir die span gaan wees? En of Marcel, ek vra sommer terselfdertyd vir jou ook 'n vraag, in 'n ideale wêreld sou hierdie wedstryd op Loftusver sal gespeel gewees het. Wat sê jy vir julle ondersteuners wat môre daar op hulle rusbanke sit en vanmôre met julle met valk oor dop op?
Hallo Percy, ja, ek dink ek is vroeër ook die vraag gevra. Ek dink ek wil nie te veel dink oor môre nie. Ek dink op die dag kry jy 'n oue gevoel. Hulle sê daai gut gevoel oor wat moet jy sê, hoe baie moet jy sê. Ons almal weet daar sal reeds emosies betrokke. Ons almal weet daar sal reeds druk op die spelers. Al die voorbereiding is gedoen. Ons het hierdie week al baie lekker spansessies gehad op die veld en van die veld af. Ek dink al die praatwerk is al gedoen. Ou sal dalk een of twee goed uitwys wat jy voel is belangrik, maar ou kry maar 'n gevoel soos jy opbou na die wedstryd en ook in die opwarming veral of waar regtig iets is wat jy wil sê. Maar ons het vandag al ons praatwerk en al ons voorbereidingswerk afgesluit in ons spanvergaderings en is ook op die veld. Ek dink môre is dit 'n geval van vertrou jou spelers. Hulle weet presies wat om te doen en kom ons glo dat die plan en alles in plek gaan val en dat hulle dit gaan geniet daar buite.
Ja, dan net van my kant af, baie dankie eerstens vir al die blou ondersteuners daar in Pretoria en nie net Pretoria nie, maar oral in die land. Ons waardeer julle, ons kan aanvoel met die boodskappe wat julle stuur en die manne trek inspirasie daarvan en jy weet op die einde van die dag toe dit moeilik gegaan het, was daar nog steeds baie goeie ondersteuning en julle het ons deurgetrek en ek hoop deur hierdie seisoen kon julle sien wat dit beteken vir die spelers om vir hierdie unie te speel, dat hulle bereid is om enigiets op die lyn te sit en hopelik kan ons al daai gevoelens en emosies môre finaal toe bring en julle trots maak.
Maar ek wil alles sterkte toewens. Baie dankie.
Dankie.
Thanks. Any more questions? If not, I think we'll wrap it up there. Coach, thank you. Captain, thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks, Media.
Thanks, Clinton. Good luck, Jan. Good luck, Marcel.
Baie dankie.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
And you talked about the development of the ball. What do you think is the biggest difference in the team last year at this point to Jen?
Marcel will probably know a bit better because he was involved last year. But you know, for me personally, it's still a journey because obviously I'm still learning a lot, dealing with URC, specifically the competition and the demands of the competition was my first experience this year. I think this is our 11th or 14th. I don't know how many times we've come over to Europe, you know, for either for the European competition or for URC. So there's a lot of learnings for me, and as we progress, I think you know, hopefully we can even smooth and get some stuff. But I saw a team come together. I think the journey from where I came and where we're now for the specific season, I saw a team coming together, and that's the you know the side that I enjoyed the most because that's a big part of coaching. You know, to create a team that wants to play for each other. But we're not obviously still haven't achieved anything, so we don't want to get carried away. But ultimately, coaching is a privilege, and it's just you know, just a great opportunity to work with men and be part of their lives. And I think that's the growth that I could see in the team. But how much it differs from the team that played last year to now, I'm not certain, you know, but I can just do what I can.
Yeah.
So I have a question, Coach Marcus. What did it take, you know, to find that balance? And I suppose I might tell you that also sort of touched on this. Coming in, you find a team that is, you know, well established. What did it take to find your voice, to get buy-in, to get you and the team to where you are? Just as a follow-up on that, Coach, what did it take for you to get to where you are now, having found the team, an established team with some senior statesmen, as you'd mentioned earlier, establishing your voice and getting a buy-in that has essentially brought you to the grand final?
Well, no, I think ultimately when I came, you know, the biggest challenge was to get the players to understand what kind of person I am and how do I see the game. And also, I think the pressure was on from the start because everybody knew they played in finals. So everybody expect nothing less than playing in a final. And that does put a bit more pressure than when you get a team that, let's say, is mid-table or bottom and you've got time and a bit of leeway if things doesn't go your way. So the pressure was on to get results. And then obviously, my philosophy and success philosophy is a bit different. So for me, it's about the environment that I create for the players to grow as men and not just as players. And that's the part that I probably would, you know, look to establish first, and Marcel will know. So one of the first things was to get a culture going and a value system that we can feel we can abide to. But the players, I can just commend the players, you know. They also had to get to know me. It's not easy when you change coaches because every player has a relationship with coaches, and now suddenly you've got new coach, and how does he see me? And So I can bet you there's uncertainty from them. But I can again credit Marcel, all the leaders in the team buying into the philosophy, into the culture, into the values. And then slowly but surely, I think, even though we went through a tough time, we kept believing, kept growing on the field, but also on the field. I saw a lot of growth. They started obviously to get to know me a bit better. Once we got a few results, the confidence started to come. But at the end of the day, God has given me a purpose, I believe, and my purpose is to work with young men, and if I can change one player, have one little input in his life, in my career, for me, that's success. I know people will judge me by trophies, but, ultimately, if I walk away from a place, I'm happy if the players feel that, that there was value added to their lives.
Guys, I'm here for 35 minutes every single time.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you guys.
Okay. Thank you. Shelley?